So my name is Suzanne Sanzare, and I am a member of HEW Coral Springs. I started coming to HEW Coral Springs just slightly 1 year ago. I was laying in bed. I had a pretty bad rash from a sunburn, and I was kind of itching, and I felt it. And there's no denying what it is. It just felt like a marble in there. It was incredible.
My name is Tamara Martin, and I have been a member of HEW for 5 years, and I work out at HEW Jupiter. I was diagnosed with breast cancer September 2005, about 3 weeks after my sister was diagnosed. I was 31, and my sister was 33 at the time.
Somebody just told you that you have cancer, and it's just not something that you want to hear or you think that you're going to hear. And I think that was the last thing I remember. I think really the only thing I remember was the hum of the air conditioning in that office, because you just go numb.
Basically, I had 2 lumps in my left breast, so they went ahead and did surgery. About 3 weeks later, I had a double mastectomy. And then they also kind of do the reconstruction, the beginnings of it at the same time. And then a couple weeks later, I started chemotherapy. So I had 4 months of very intense, hardcore chemotherapy, where you lose your hair, you go through all that horrible stuff, you're nauseous.
I chose the lumpectomy because I did not have the gene. I had my first surgery October 12th of 2007. Essentially, it was just right here. I had 2 surgeries to completely remove the lump. They said, okay, we'll do chemotherapy. On November 17th, I walked into a place you don't ever want to go to. It's the chemo room, and it's scary. And it's quiet, and it's sad. So I started 4 rounds every 3 weeks. So I would sit in meetings, and I would literally start playing with my hair, and just chunks would come out, and chunks. And I would laugh. I was like, that's really gross, isn't it? So I was bald for probably 6 months, I would say. 2008, I was done with all my chemotherapy, and then I had to move on to radiation. And my husband says that that's probably, I felt the worst during radiation. I was tired. It's probably just because of the schedule, because it's just killer. It's every day, having to go to the doctor's office.
The person that I leaned on the most during the whole process was my sister. We were kind of about a couple weeks off on our treatment, so we called each other. It was horrible that we both went through it, but great to have my big sister there to help me through it. One of the things that was toughest for me was losing my hair. At first I thought I'd be okay with it. Then I realized it's hard to leave the house when you're bald. What do you do? Do you wear a hat? I went home for Thanksgiving, and my sister was there because we live in different states. She lives in Texas. And when I saw her confident and bald and going around, like this is no big deal, that gave me the confidence to go through it. Just be like, I can leave the house bald. It doesn't matter. I'll just throw on a hat. I'll just throw on a bandana or whatever.
About, I would say 5 years in, I had to take this medicine called tamoxifen. I think tamoxifen is when I really started seeing changes in my body, in my mind, my brain, my memory. I put on weight really quick. And I would say within a year, between that 5th and 6th year, I put on about 15 pounds. So I would say, and I know this sounds really corny, but the biggest accomplishment since having cancer was getting healthy, but really focusing on staying healthy and working out and really just taking care of my body.
So my biggest accomplishment since beating breast cancer, I guess, completing a half Ironman. That was a big thing. Overall, just getting my health back and mentally moving forward, I think was huge. But just conquering, being back in shape and being healthy was pretty much a very big accomplishment after going through all that.
I love doing it. I think that they have taught me to be a warrior. They've taught me to be an athlete. It's not just working out anymore. I feel like a true athlete when I come in here.
So my biggest thing is hard exercise. I need to work out at least 5 days a week. I'm really, not just walking around the block, a couple times a week or whatever. I mean, talking about really good hard exercise. These studies actually show that hard exercise, at least 3 or 4, 5 days a week, reduces your chance of recurrence by 50%. So for me, that was huge. For me, it was like a no-brainer. Just get back in the gym, get yourself in shape. I would say the best thing about it is it makes me feel strong and empowered. My biggest advice for someone going through this, one, you need the support of other breast cancer survivors or women going through it. I was lucky to have a very good support group down in Boca where I went through my treatments of young women because no one else quite gets what's happening to your body and to your mind. I'm gonna cry a little bit. So it's great to have those people around you that can have that perspective and support each other through it. A group of girls I could go to and we could talk about it. And then the other thing I would suggest is try to keep your body healthy the whole time. I worked out through the whole thing, and I really, really wish that I had had a HEW at that time because that would have been perfect. But I just made myself go to the gym, and sometimes you can't always do that. But just try to keep your body in some sort of shape.
I didn't even like roller coasters, and now I am front row, hands up, screaming and yelling, I don't care. Because I went through hell already. I went through one of the worst roller coasters, and I want to have fun, and I want to live, and I don't want it to stop me. That I got through it myself. I excelled in my career during a portion of this. I stayed true to who I was. I got to the other side, and I feel good about the experience, and I feel good about where I am now. And it got me here. It definitely brought me through these doors of HEW in taking charge of my health and taking charge of my fitness and really kind of becoming that warrior. And I fought a beast and I won. And I stand taller now because of that. And I am happier because I know what matters now.